Local hardware store? No. These are the screws that were in my ankle just 11 months ago. And guess what we're discussing today? Hardware removal. These are the two screws that were in my ankle just 11 months ago, and I have a lot of people that ask me questions wondering if maybe hardware removal is for them. So today I'm just going to go over a couple of the common questions that I get, as well as sharing a little bit about my hardware removal story. Questions. The first one I commonly get is, how did I decide to get my hardware removed? I actually did not consider getting it removed until I ran into my mom's cousin at a family reunion, and she told me that she had ankle surgery, and then she got her hardware out and she felt so much better after. So that was the first thing that kind of sparked. And I went into the doctor last week and told him everything that I just said, and he said we can remove the screws or we can do a cortisone shot. And my mom's doing cortisone shots. She's 62. I'm 30. I don't want to do cortisone shots. I said let's just do it. And after talking, he did say that I could have it done. One thing I found surprising is that not a lot of people have their hardware removed. I want to say it's less than 15% have their hardware removed. So I found that pretty interesting. The other part of why I wanted it removed, I was having swelling and aching almost daily. I would wake up every single morning and I was walking on my tiptoe with my bad ankle because it was so stiff and it was so swollen. So I would have to spend the first 20 minutes of the day walking on my tiptoe just to get it going and warmed up, I guess. That also happened like if I was in a long car ride, if I was sitting somewhere for a while, it would just get really stiff. And it has not been fun. I have tried to run a 5K and I made it 3 blocks and had to stop, and I had to walk the rest of the way. I'm not able to run and chase my nieces and nephews the way that I used to be able to, and it's been really challenging working out and being at the gym lifting weights. Any weight I put on it, even if I'm just lifting, like I said, like my niece or nephew, or if I'm helping somebody move and it kind of boxes, that night my ankle is the size of a softball. It's just swollen so big. We have 4 seasons here in Minnesota, just like any other place, but our seasons are very different. So anytime we were going to have a weather change, I felt it. What's interesting is I talked to my friend Aaron last week. Aaron has, I want to say it's 14 pins in his wrist from playing football last year. He tells me that him and his wife joke about he can predict whether the rainfall. He says, I know within like a day or two before when we're going to have a nice rain. So he said it just aches. And I hear that from a lot of people. So that is another thing with just living in Minnesota. It was aching and swelling all the time. Another question I get is, how long after the initial surgery can I actually get my hardware removed? My doctor will not remove hardware before 9 months. You have to have it in for at least 9 months to do its job, and then he will discuss the options with you. I have heard from several people. Some have said 3 months, some have said 6 months, and some have said 1 year. So it all depends on your doctor. That's something that you'll have to discuss. One thing I want to mention there is I actually waited 3.5 years between my ankle break and my hardware removal. I wish that I wouldn't have waited that long. One of the reasons that I waited that long was just because lack of knowledge. I know it's not good to assume, but I kind of just assumed that was the way life was going to be now. Like, once you break your ankle, sorry, you're just going to wake up and it's going to swell a lot, and you're just going to have to deal with these issues the rest of your life. So I am glad that I eventually went in, but I just want to tell anyone out there, if you are wondering how this is going to be for the rest of your life, no, it shouldn't. Your ankle shouldn't swell and ache for the rest of your life. So if you're, past 3 months or 6 months after your surgery and you're having these issues every day, go in to a doctor and ask him what the issues are. Don't just accept it like I did for 3 years. How long is the recovery? Recovery was so much easier than the first one. So I'm having surgery tomorrow to get the screws out. I guess that it is a lot better recovery time, which I'm so thankful for because I can't do another 3 months. It was a lot better than I was expecting. So surgery was normal, just like the first time, except for it is outpatient. So I did not have to spend the night at the hospital this time. In fact, I went in for the surgery 2 hours before, got my gown, blood pressure, get my IV in, talked to the anesthesiologist, and I believe surgery was between 30 and 60 minutes long. And then after I got into recovery, waited there for about an hour until I got, kind of less loopy. I don't even have to have crutches.
Yeah.
Let's blow this pop stand. I'm hungry. After about an hour in recovery, they took me in a wheelchair to the front entry. They had put a little bit of a dressing on the incision, and then they wrapped it with I believe it was just one ace wrap, and then they put on this, it's almost like a black sandal booty. I'll post a picture so you can kind of get an idea. And they wheeled me to the front entry, and I actually walked the 5 feet to the car. So I was surprised. For those of you who have been in a cast with crutches, you know the difference between leaving the hospital with crutches and leaving the hospital walking in a little booty is huge. So I was really excited about that. In fact, we left to go get pain meds at Walgreens at the pharmacy, 15 minutes after, and I walked into Walgreens to get my pain meds. Now I want to clarify, I was not striding in there or doing cartwheels. I was still in pain, and actually about 5 minutes into Walgreens, while I was waiting for the prescription, I said, you know what, I can kind of feel this. I think I'm not going to push it. I'll go wait in the car. But I was able to walk a little distance, so I was really happy about that. How long does recovery take? It's different for everyone. For me, until I was back into a regular shoe, was let's just say it was about a month. As far as me being up, walking in just walking and doing office work or office job, probably a week, maybe even less. I know that my surgeon, he said that he does the surgeries on Fridays, so that some people go in, get surgery, they rest the rest of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and return to work on Monday. So the recovery can be short. It's kind of pushing it to just recover for 2 or 3 days. I think I actually took until, was it Thursday of the following week? So almost a week off of just resting it before I got normal lifestyle. Remember, I only had 2 screws in. I hear stories all the time of people who have rods and plates and 16 screws in their leg. So take that into consideration. If you're having that much hardware removed, your recovery is probably gonna be much longer. So just like any old screw, if you screw these into wood and then take them out, you are going to have a long hollow spot where these once were. So how does that work with bones? Does your bone stay hollow? Does that make them weaker? Or does the bone actually grow back? The bone actually grows back, and that takes, I think, about a month or 2 to do. Did you have to do physical therapy after your hardware removal surgery? I was not instructed to do physical therapy. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to many people about that. So if you're watching this and you have, please comment below. I'd love to hear, if you were instructed to do physical therapy. Okay guys, I think that is all the questions that are kind of the common ones. If you have any additional questions, comment below. I am more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. And while my name is Sarah House, I am not related to Dr. House on TV. It is a big joke. I get it all the time. It's very funny. But just remember that this is just me sharing my story. I am not a professional. I hope that I helped you guys out by answering maybe some of the questions that you had. So good luck with your recoveries and your ankle journeys. Thank you for watching. Bye. If you've had hardware removed and you have any input, I'd love to hear it. Please comment below and share your story. Thanks. Also, don't forget, give a thumbs up to this video. One thing that you might hear me mention in some of the other ankle videos that I have done is there is no book called Breaking Ankles for Dummies. Not yet anyways. And when I broke my ankle 4 years ago, the first thing that I did was I went straight to Google and YouTube and looked for any story that I could of people's personal stories of breaking their ankles. So I know that they give you a lot of pamphlets and you know, medical documentation to read, but there is nothing like hearing somebody else's personal story that has been through it. I find that that's really helpful, and so that's why I'm doing this. So I hope that this video helped answer your guys' questions, and I wish you the best of luck with your future recoveries and surgeries, and cheers to healthy ankles. Thanks for watching. Bye.